Hello and welcome. My name is Abhishek Datta, and today I'm going to talk about exosomes and how it is used as a novel cancer diagnostic and therapeutic tool. So, I would first like to start with a brief introduction on exosome. So, what are exosomes basically? Exosomes are small membrane-bound vesicles that are produced by almost all eukaryotic cells. Initially, when they were discovered in 1940s, they were thought to be as a cellular rubbish bag, which the cell uses to excrete all the waste material from the cell. But thereafter, various scientists discovered that these exosomes have immense important function in cellular transport as well as communication. In this video, almost all types of cell produce exosomes using endothelial cell, epithelial cell, platelets, as well as tumor cells. These exosomes are constantly shed by these cells into the extracellular space, and these exosomes range in size between 30 nanometers to 100 nanometers. So they are produced by cellular membrane invagination, and then they are released into the extracellular space via exocytosis. So during this process, they package protein, messenger RNA, and microRNA from the parent cell, and then they carry them to the recipient cells, where these biomolecules are released in the recipient cells. And once they're released in the recipient cells, they can induce biological processes such as immune response, metastasis, angiogenesis, as well as cellular survival. So how can we isolate these exosomes? It is now that we know what are exosomes, we need to isolate them. So how can we isolate these exosomes? There are conventional methods and also there are a few emerging techniques for exosome isolation. The conventional method uses ultracentrifugation and density gradient centrifugation to isolate exosomes. These are the most common methods still in practice. Also emerging methods include size exclusion chromatography, acoustic separation, and nanotrap methods for exosome isolation. These methods are very costly and not abundantly used, but ultracentrifugation and density centrifugation are mostly used till date. So after we have isolated these exosomes, we need to figure out whether the particles which we have isolated are really exosomes or they are other cellular debris. So for that, there are certain molecular markers which help us to characterize exosomes. That is CD9, CD63, and CD81. These are surface markers which are present on the surface of exosomes, which help us to identify them. Also, there are few components of the endosomal sorting complexes such as TSG101 and ALEX, which further help us identifying exosomes. So next we will look into the biological function of exosome. As I said, when they were initially discovered, they were thought to be as a cellular rubbish bag, but soon after, various important biological functions of exosome were discovered. There are three main functions of exosome. The first one is that exosome can be used by the cell to selectively release harmful substances from the cell. The second one is that it helps in maintaining intercellular homeostasis and cellular viability. And the third one is that it helps in communication via the paracrine pathway. So after we have discovered all these important biological functions of exosome, we started to exploit them for therapeutic and diagnostic tools. So in this figure, I have summarized how can exosome be used as a simple diagnostic method and therapeutic method. Over here, we can see that after blood collection, exosomes are isolated and all the biomolecules that are present within these exosomes can be analyzed via using specific instruments. And also for therapeutic purpose, these exosomes can be isolated and thereafter they can be packaged with various biomolecules and then re-injected back into the patient, which can then go and target these cancer cells. So to elaborate on this, how exosomes are used as a diagnosis platform. So as I said, all types of cells secrete exosomes, including tumor cells. So these exosomes once they are secreted into the extracellular space, they slowly make their way into the circulatory system. And once in the circulatory system, we can easily isolate them via simple non-invasive blood draw technique. And after we have isolated the blood, we can isolate exosome from that blood samples, and thereafter we can look for various markers or biomarkers, I should say, which will help us characterize the disease, as well as also it will help us identify the stage of the disease as well. So what are the advantages of exosome for using as a cancer diagnostic marker? Exosome can be isolated by a simple non-invasive blood draw technique, so it is very useful as compared to biopsy, which is much more painful. And we can draw blood multiple number of times from the patient to corroborate our data. Furthermore, while using exosome, we can check for many biomarkers simultaneously. We do not look for only a single biomarker. We can check for protein, mRNA, miRNA at the same time from a particular exosome. So that helps us to look for many markers simultaneously. And also, exosome acts as a protective capsule to prevent degradation of this biomarker within them. So whatever result which we get from these are much more credible and authentic. So there are around almost 70 trials that have been registered in clinicaltrials.gov that uses exosome-based diagnostic platforms to detect tumors. So, and also there are various commercial companies such as Exomedex, Guardian Health, which uses exosome-based diagnosis platform. So next we move on to the therapeutic aspect of exosomes. And over here we can see that various cells secrete exosomes such as tumor cells, dendritic cells, and mesenchymal stem cells and exosome after are being isolated from all these types of cells. After we have isolated these exosomes, we can package various biomolecules or chemotherapeutic drugs within these exosomes, and after that it is re-injected back into the patient to target the tumor cells. There are two main aspects of it. One, these exosomes can be directly targeted towards the cancer cells, and another aspect is that these exosomes can be targeted to the immune cells, where these exosomes can enter into the immune cells and thereafter activate the immune cells, which then go and target these cancer cells. Thereby, this is an indirect method to target cancer cells. So what are the advantages of using exosome-based cancer therapies? The first one is that exosomes are much more biodegradable and biocompatible, and therefore they have a much low toxicity. At the same time, because they're almost always isolated from a self source, they have a low immunogenicity. As well, exosome can be isolated or harvested in a huge quantity because almost all types of cell produce them and in a very high number also. And exosome can easily get lung is easily cleared from the lung, and also exosome can enter the blood brain barrier, which immensely important in treatment of gliomas. Research have also shown that the adherence and internalization of exosome within the tumor cells are almost 10 times higher as compared to liposome and nanoparticles, which adds to the advantage of exosomes. And at the same time, exosomes have a tissue homing property as well. So if that is that if we isolate exosome from a particular type of cell, these exosomes will almost always tend to home towards that cell type or the cell of origin. So if we isolate exosome from a cancer cell, these exosomes will always go and try to enter into that cancer stem cell only. Thereby, this property is also very important in targeting cancer cells. And as over here, we can see there are almost 40 clinical trials that have been registered in clinicaltrials.gov that uses the exosome as a therapeutic platform. So there are various companies as well, that is Kodiak, Angerium, and Evox, which uses exosome-based cancer therapy platform. But but also there are certain kinds of drawbacks for using exosomes. I won't say drawbacks, but there are some problems which needs to be mitigated to address all these issues so that these exosomes can enter into clinical development faster. The main point is that exosome contains various substances which are almost always not detected. So these substances can be of tumorigenic origin or might be immunosuppressive. So when they are taken up by healthy cells, these can cause unwanted side effects or also can lead to immunosuppressive environment or can be pro-tumorigenic. Thereby, we have to know all the components that are present within the exosomes. At the same time, I said that drug loading within exosome can be used to target the cancer cell, but the amount of chemotherapeutic drug loading within these exosomes cannot be precisely controlled. Thereby, that is another problem. And also, the retention of these drugs within these exosomes is known to be inefficient and insufficient as well. So we need to have a robust in vivo testing model to test all these hypotheses so that we can develop exosome-based therapy in the near future. So with this, I would like to end today's presentation. I hope you like it. And if you have any queries, you can email me at my email ID. Thank you so much.
Well, it was an excellent talk. You gave the details, a very detailed insight on the exosome and their function and how we can twist exosomes to detect cancer as well as to target cancer. So one of my questions, a very basic question, I guess. So how can we distinguish means why exosomes are given priority over the rest of the other extracellular vesicles, like there are liposomes and there are other vehicles which are vesicles
As I
which
said,
also falls within that size range. So why we are giving priority to exosomes to for the therapy purpose and for the diagnostic purpose?
yes. First of all, for the diagnostic purpose, we cannot use liposome and nanoparticles, so that is different. For the therapeutic purpose, as I said before, exosomes have a greater potency to get internalized, adhered to, and get internalized by the tumor cells. So that is the main argument for using exosome rather than nanoparticles and liposomes.
Okay, so liposomes cannot carry DNA, protein, and microRNAs.
They can carry, but the rate of adherence and the rate of internalization of exosomes are higher. So if suppose there are 10 liposomes which are entering
Okay.
a particular tumor cells, there will be 100 exosomes that is entering. So it is much more efficient. And also exosomes at the same time are biological particles. They are made by our own body cells. So they are much more biocompatible with our system as compared to liposomes, which are generated in labs.
Okay, so liposomes are artificially generated.